Hospitality was a key method by which the early church grew rapidly. Hospitality is just as important today as it was then. Through hospitality, the ancients share their faith successfully even though their world was pagan and often hostile to their faith. One of the most important examples from history of the effectiveness of hospitality is seen in the Christianizing of Ireland. Much research has been done of late to try and understand how it was that one man by the name of Patrick could in half a lifetime take Christianity to Ireland and make it the dominant religious force. Patrick was born around 360 AD, most likely from Scotland or northern England. He grew up in a Christian family. Christianity had been brought to Britain by the Roman soldiers. By the time of Patrick's youth they had departed. Patrick was stolen in his youth from his home and taken back to Ireland as a slave. During his lonely life as a shepherd he came close to God. After escaping and returning home, he had a dream where God called him to train for the priesthood and to return to convert the land of Ireland. How did Patrick manage to oust the Druids and convert most of Ireland in his lifetime? Leslie Hardinge, in his book, Celtic Church in Britain, tells us that hospitality was an inflexible rule of all Celtic settlements. Dire penalties were to be inflicted on those who failed to supply the wants of the needy. The care of the wayfarer and pauper, the widow and orphan, was regarded as a most important practice of the Celtic Christian. No call for help was ever denied. Even to those abroad who desired an education, the Irish monasteries provided free board, lodging, books, and tuition. The ancient law condemned inhospitality as a crime. The Celt was hospitable because he loved people. Albiel charged the Celts to keep a clean house for the guests and big fire, washing and bathing for them, and the couch without sorrow. The Celts welcomed travelers, strangers, people in need into their communities. Hospitality is fundamentally a relational approach to evangelism. George Hunter III, in How Christianity Can Reach the West, outlines the difference between the Celtic or relational way of evangelism and the Roman or traditional way. The Roman model for reaching people involves the following steps. First, present the Christian message, then invite him to decide to believe in Christ and become Christians, and finally, if they decide positively, welcome them into the church and its fellowship. The Celtic model for reaching people involves the following sequence. You first establish community with people, or bring them into the fellowship of your community of faith. Second, within fellowship, you engage in conversation, you involve them in ministry, prayer, and worship. And over time, as they discover that they now believe, you invite him to commit. This process can be summed up with 3 words: friendship, ministry, commitment. The Celtic model reflects the adage that, for most people, Christianity is more caught than taught. Researcher John Finney from the UK reports that most people experience the faith through relationships, that they encounter the gospel through a community of faith, that becoming a Christian involves a process that takes time. In his later book, Recovering the Past, Finney summarizes their chief finding in 4 words. For most people, belonging comes before believing. It is not what we say but what we do in a relationship that people take most notice of. Hospitality ministry is about offering friendship and support to people who have unmet personal needs. Joseph Aldrich says, "Evangelism is godliness fleshed out. We fit into God's purpose by loving Him, obeying Him, and loving others until they ask why. We are commissioned to prepare webs of relationships so that Jesus may come to them." Evangelism is a process through which people flow toward the foot of the cross. Patrick taught the people that by offering hospitality, they not only blessed the stranger or person in need, but also had the privilege of catching a glimpse of Christ in the process.